states slash the number of polling places.
And this morning, it is already sparking concerns for possible voter suppression.
And we'll be checking in with the campaigns throughout the day as results come in and hopefully looking for a final result today. We'll be doing that here in the coming hours. But for now, back to you live.
Everyone's going to keep walking in and out of it.
Yep, just bring in another.
Okay, great. Thanks, Charles.
With some of these irregularities, there's some other things too. There's 4 counties where they didn't give anybody the ability to fix their signature.
Thank you.
At what point do we think that we will have complete election results reported? Like close of business?
So we'll know in an hour?
The race to take on the Republican leader Mitch McConnell appeared to be settled. Now is anything but.
Comes down to Louisville. This is unbelievable.
All right, they're looking over their vote totals now.
Now that's 87% of them. Turnout here in Jefferson County, they say they've never seen anything like it in the history of the county.
This will go down as a very historic election.
Your agenda is in a state that Donald Trump's very popular.
We're not going to waste our time on trying to turn America into a socialist country. Protests at Louisville immediately sparked clashes between police and demonstrators.
Look, they all got their guns out. Shots fired, shots fired.
God, we cannot sit still in the face of so many injustices.
A lot of people will look at your agenda, they'll look at the state of Kentucky and be like, this is a fool's errand.
All colors, all statuses of income. This is what change looks like, every single one of you.
You know, we say about places in Kentucky, you got to be going there to get there. And like, it's true. If you're going to Kentucky, you got to be going there to get there. We're our own place.
Kentucky is an incredibly beautiful state, green fields and mountains, small businesses.
You're also talking about one of the poorest states in the nation.
The country has a lot of stereotypes about Kentucky. And I think sometimes they get stereotypes because of some of the very real statistical data that persists.
Kentucky is a state where people have really struggled. It has one of the lowest qualities of education in the country, some of the least access to health care.
You grow up here and people tell you have no future here. And in a lot of places, the water's dirty. Those are not choices that like everyday working people have chosen for themselves. There's like people in Frankfort and in Washington, like Mitch McConnell, who've like made those choices for our families here.
Senate Bill 4 is passed.
Every medical provider and citizen really should be outraged.
Until we're allowed to lift up the name of Christ in the public sector again.
Any other members seeking recognition under this order of business? Please proceed.
Well, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about Kentucky. But one thing that's true is that we're a red state. Democrats are in a tough position right now in Kentucky. So you'll see blue dots in a sea of red. In terms of the state legislature, Republicans control about 75% of it. Charles Booker was elected to the Kentucky State House of Representatives in 2018. He took office in 2019.
We were debating a bill, and when he got up and stood up to speak, I was off the floor in a conference committee. Somebody pulled me out to a TV and said, I think you need to see this.
But I wanted to stand and explain my vote because I'm not here looking for your grace. See, God's grace is sufficient. And the reality of the matter is, because there are a lot of preachers in this room, we are not God. We can't be God. I told you I grew up in a Pentecostal church. I understand what that means. To the point where if you get pregnant, even if you're gonna die, you should die. I know some people that believe that. The problem with that is we are ignoring the woman in this conversation every single daggone time.
Here we're in a super minority, and the majority is pushing forward bills that are going to really hurt so many Kentuckians.
Listen, I stood up, probably for the first time in the state's history, gave a monologue about what it would mean to be shot as a black man. Talked about Senate Bill 150. Talked about lynchings, told you how my family was lynched, how some want to compare that to abortion. What a roller coaster I've been on this session. I've laid all my stories out for you. I explained to you how these types of laws, like 150, would kill people. And the same folks that want to have the audacity to vote yes now voted for that legislation.
Gentlemen, I apologize.
My life matters too,
Your
Speaker.
3 minutes is up.
My life matters too, Speaker.
You are out of order. Your 3 minutes are up.
An older white man yelled, sit down.
And I was directly behind that man, and I saw the vitriol on his face, and I saw the spittle.
I can only imagine that in this white person's mind, he thought he had the right to tell this black person to sit down.
I have certainly been in all the categories, the poor, the working poor, and the barely middle class, and I know that Charles has too. And that it centers you in a way that is different from anybody else's life experience, especially if you don't lose touch with your roots. And it makes you understand from a visceral perspective what you do matters.
When I went into law school, you know, with tagging my jeans and stuff, apparently I was on this list of students they expected to not make it. And I had one of the counselors sort of pull me aside. It was like, Charles, they know you're from the West End. And there's not a lot of you here. And I'm telling you this because I want you to prove them wrong. This is like the main corridor in the West End. This was a corner store that we would walk to from church after Sunday school. Now this is where you would get the penny candy. That was the highlight. I'm an only child. It's funny for me to say that because, you know, my cousins are like my siblings. Corner stores were a big part of us growing up. I guess I ain't really thought about it, but it was our chance to like be together. And it was just so much fun to walk with my cousins. And my dad called me and he was like, that was your cousin, TJ. That was your cousin. It changed everything for me. When I heard that he was shot and killed, I thought about everything that happened around him before that trigger was pulled. All the closed doors, even for the person that killed him. All of the trauma, the sadness, the heartache, the desperation. When a trigger is pulled, it's an explosion of a whole lot of issues and problems that we don't deal with. And since then, I've had 4 cousins murdered after him. This Phoenix here was a paint project some students and community folks put together, and it's crazy, it's still there. Oh yeah, the Phoenix, a mystical bird. It died in a fire, but found the strength to rise. It was like we will rise again as family. We will rise again as a strong community. Like all the messages are washed away now. These are the types of stories that you don't hear about. And it is definitely a symbol of our resilience.
He lost 5 cousins in 5 years to gun violence. So he's literally watching members of his family die when he sees policies that would potentially protect them, that would save their lives. And what he discovered in Frankfurt is that Mitch McConnell was calling the shots. And so it wasn't like I should hang in my House seat and build my political career. It was, I got to save my family. Charles and I ended up in a lot of the same places, and we worked on some legislation together. We were in the basement of the Capitol Annex. He kind of pulled me aside and he's like, I'm running one day and you're gonna help me. And I said, okay.
This race was bigger than who would become Kentucky's next senator. This race was to take on Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who had been in office longer than Charles and I had been alive.
The Majority Leader is recognized.
Guns, constitutional right. Abortions, innocent life, trying to turn America into a socialist country.
Gun rights, the environment, they have weaponized effectively to try to divide us.
I don't think he or Rand Paul are remotely in touch with what is going on in black communities.
Democrats are the abortion party.
Well, evidently, the far left is no longer convinced that all babies are created equal.
He uses buzzwords, and certain groups, evangelical groups, who have 2 issues, homosexuality and abortion.
So I'm proud to support this important step forward in protecting America's rights of conscience.
And they hate women. Mitch McConnell one time during a campaign called me a feminasty to the press. I don't know that I'd heard that term before.
They don't care about us as women. We don't have any rights that they want to codify.
So they view me as a roadblock. Frankly, I'm proud of stopping those bills.
People have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray.
Kentuckians who often feel forgotten think, well, we've got somebody up there, who's got the ear of the president, and so we want to keep that power, so we're going to keep this man.
The guy is an institution. He has a McConnell Scholars Program at the University of Louisville that I applied to get in so I could get a scholarship to law school. How do you beat him, especially if you come from the West End and you don't have no money?
I've done gubernatorial races here in Kentucky, Senate races, so I run the gambit. Charles and I got together at this coffee shop that we meet at. I tried to provide him 2 different ways of thinking about it. The first was the pragmatic one, and that he's going to run against Mitch McConnell, who is arguably the most powerful human in Kentucky and maybe one of the more powerful persons in America. And we talked about what it meant to take on someone like that. We talked about what it would mean for his family.
First time he told me he's running for U.S. Senate, I told him, no, he's not. Absolutely not. No, we're not doing that. I knew he would do a great job, but I know that politics is dirty, and they'll drag your name through the dirt.
To run for the United States Senate, Charles had to give up his seat in the Kentucky State House.
He was gambling a lot, I thought.
I think Charles had his mind made up. I think Charles had decided that he wanted to start a movement.
In the end, Tanisha, but she was like, well, if you believe in your spirit that this is what you got to do, I'm with you. And to see her on that stage gave me so much pride.
A Democratic lawmaker from Louisville is rallying for support.
This is the movement right here.
Hinting at his run for Senate months ago, Booker finally made his run for U.S. Senate official.
When I was 12 years old, I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I grew up. I wanted to fly fighter jets and land on aircraft carriers because that's the toughest flying you could do.
Amy McGrath was able to raise a whole lot of money really quickly. She has a great story. She was a female fighter pilot.
There was a predetermined selection in Amy McGrath amongst Democrats because she had the money and she had the support.
If there was any Democrat who could probably mount a well-funded challenge to McConnell in the coming year, it's Amy McGrath.
People will call me and say, there's no way y'all are doing this, and you got to talk him out of this. The political calculus is that he can't run.
I feel resolved. Like, I feel like, okay, this is the fight. I'm fighting the right fight. This is worth it. I know I'm doing the right thing. That is my feeling, that I know I'm doing the right thing. And I can't have any regrets there. So when I had the idea to run for office, there was really just two people that thought it was okay. Like, I believe in you, Charles. Of course, my mom was one of them.
We thank you, God, that you woke us up this morning, God. We've been through some things, but we're still standing, amen?
She's a singer. She sings opera soprano. She cannot stand politics. She doesn't trust politicians. It's always been my mom and me growing up.
Another picture of CJ, that's what we call him. He was about 3 there. Another suit that I made for him. So I kept him nice and sharp, you know, in his little suits and shirts and things.
Mama.
I can't be nobody but Kim. And you can't be nobody but Charles. And Lord knows you can't be nobody but you.
I mean, I always had a group of women around me that I would put up against any man. Don't come for me, because you see all these ladies around. And like, if you look at how nice the house is, it's because Mom put so much work into this place. When we first saw that, it was a mess. Kitchen was like out of a Freddy Krueger movie. I didn't know it then, but we were poor. I wasn't really ashamed, but I was embarrassed when our lights would get cut off or we lost our car. When I went to middle school, that was really the glaring moment of, wait, I live in the West End. And maybe I shouldn't invite my friends to come over because they'll find out we don't have air conditioning. And I don't want them to make fun of me or my mom.
And this is every time, so this ain't no make-believe. Yeah. This is life for real.
It's very difficult to run against establishment-picked people. You'd mostly see independently wealthy folks or retired folks who could afford to run for office. And I think what we've seen in Kentucky and in this country are younger people, working people running for office, because we can clearly see that the change is not going to come from the top down.
Both major parties are controlled by corporatists. They serve the same master, and that is the moneyed class, the corporate class. And there will always be a clash between those two dynamics.
Hey, man. Another day, man. You know, going against the most well-funded primary and Senate in the history of our country was definitely intimidating.
What's going on? You doing all right, Doctor?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. What's going on, bro? Because we have to amend our Constitution. Yes. So I've already pre-filed that again this year.
Charles was grinding in relative anonymity for months, raising small amounts of money.
Amy didn't feel like she had a primary. She saw polling that showed that there was not any competition for any other candidate but her.
Now, when you're running against an establishment candidate, you're not going to get a whole lot of support. And as elected officials, even your peers might not support you.
It felt really important as a Democrat to endorse Charles and to say a little bit to the national Democrats Here in Kentucky, we can make our own choices.
Either you get on board with us or you're going to realize that the way that you operate is not a winning strategy.
Almost all the members of the caucus then followed suit.
He's the underdog of the election, but we just looked at the issues and what's important, and the right thing at that particular moment was supporting Charles because he supported us.
Being a leader out here in the community and a union leader at that, I decided to go to my e-board and decide that we was gonna get on board with Charles.
For months and months, I was a supporter, I was a donor, but I was still a doubter. So I saw what he was going up against.
Mass protests here in the United States have sparked a global movement against racial discrimination.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
The movement for Black Lives was not something that happened somewhere else. All of a sudden, it was something that happened here at home.
Breonna Taylor was murdered on Friday, March 13th, 2020. In December 2019, one of her last tweets that month was that she wanted to be a mom and she was looking forward to 2020. And police busted into her home, shot her multiple times. The person they were looking for had already been arrested. And they murdered Breonna Taylor. And then they spent months covering it up, lying about it.
I knew Breonna. Breonna was friends with my family. She was actually a really good friend of my cousin TJ. When she was gone, it felt like I was reliving the murder of my cousin over again. It also lit a fire in the city, which spread across Kentucky and then grew across the country.
Of the 3 officers involved the night that Breonna Taylor was killed by police, only one is charged.
Well, the grand jury's decision immediately sparked protests in Louisville, a city that's already seen clashes between police and demonstrators.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
Breonna Taylor, on one hand, she's a person who was murdered by the police. On the other hand, it's bigger than her. Breonna Taylor is a reminder of the feeling. No matter what your circumstances are as a black person, you can't count on the criminal justice system to give you justice.
Nobody up here cares about us, man. Nobody up here cares about us. I ain't one of them, man.
What are you gonna do to change this?
I'm trying to get in there and...
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Speak to me direct.
I want to end poverty.
They just shot us up.
Y'all need to make the fucking noise. Whose street? Our street. Whose street? Our street. Whose street?
We have to deal with structural racism, which means we got to end poverty.
Right.
If we don't do the work to actually end poverty, we're going to keep criminalizing it, and the cycle will continue.
When people started to rally behind what had happened around Breonna Taylor, Charles was at the tip of the spear.
Breonna was ours. She was our child.
Right.
She was our sister.
Right.
Now, we gonna tell you why we here, and then we gonna march and we gonna shake these streets up.
No justice.
No peace! No justice!
No peace.
No justice!
No peace.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you so much for the privilege of being able to use our voices. We agree with Dr. King that one of the great glories of American democracy is the right to protest for right. God, we cannot sit still in the face of so many injustices and so many lost lives. We've asked ourselves how many lambs have to die before something changes. And we are tired. But we're not too tired to protest. We're not too tired for productivity.
What do we want? Justice. When do we want it?
How have you actively sought to be a part of the solution to heal racial divisions and not just render inactionless or actionless rhetoric?
Well, I've stood, not only in the legislature, but in every level of government demanding for system-level change and accountability. And even in this moment of tension, racial tension and angst in our community, standing up to say that we need to get rid of no-knock warrants. The same dynamic that allowed for Breonna Taylor to be killed in her home, in her sanctuary,
Have you been on the ground in Louisville with the protesters the last 3 days, or in Lexington or elsewhere? Ms. McGrath.
I have not.
And why?
Well, I've been with my family, and I've had some family things going on this past weekend, but I've been following the news and, and watching and making sure that, I think we're in the middle of a pandemic. So we also have to look at, is that the place to be right now?
Shots fired, shots fired. Shots fired. Look, they all got their guns out.
First, there were the shots fired by law enforcement outside a West Louisville convenience store early Monday morning. Then there was this. Hundreds gathering at 26 and Broadway demanding justice and answers in the death of David McAtee.
This event is being live streamed. The whole world is watching. So when that community member was killed by the National Guard, the body was laying on the ground the next morning, and the police surrounded that gas station where he was killed, and a crowd started to form.
And across from the crowd was a line of police in riot gear.
There was a standoff.
This is going to be a powder keg down here. And Charles stood with the people and he said, look, I understand you're upset, but if there's another way to do this, then let's do it another way.
Hey, everybody listen to me real quick. We're going to keep saying, we're going to keep raising our voices, but I need you to listen real quick. This process is going on way too long.
And a lot of people would say, well, he shouldn't go because it could become violent, and then he's going to be attached to violence.
The National Guard needs to go. They never should have been here. So we know what we need to be demanding right now, and then we know what we need to fight for long term. I'm just asking y'all, when they remove him, when his family goes to see him, that y'all just stand in solidarity with them. Show them love.
And Charles is running back and forth from the people to the police and from the police to the people.
He got with the major and asked for the police to drop their batons in solidarity with the folks who were there. And the major's like, if you can get the mayor to sign off on that, we'll do that. And Charles called the mayor. And the mayor agreed.
To say, I'm gonna put myself in this position because I understand the magnitude of what will happen if I don't stand in between these two groups of people.
Well, hello, now, there you go. Here's the leader. Here's the leader.
Here, let's speak to them and let them know what this represents.
Yes. Now, get the big one from
The crowd got so quiet. And a woman sung Amazing Grace.
No, wait on that shit.
We were looking for that leader, right? I mean, Charles met the moment as a leader, as somebody that we needed as a city and as really a state and a nation. Not only were we running a young black man in Kentucky against the national candidate, but we were running during a global pandemic. There's none of my political mentors or anybody I can call or, what do we do? You're balancing your strategic interests with like keeping people safe.
Good to see you.
Hi. We're like, look, we're gonna put it in the names, the socially distanced tour. You're gonna be outside, you're gonna wear a mask. So yeah, there's a big risk in doing that. If we were gonna go somewhere to get a news story, it's a risk. Because if we go and nobody shows up, that's the story, right? You don't want that.
In Kentucky, we had to change all of our election systems, when people could vote, how they could vote.
Nobody was prepared for what COVID brought. We weren't prepared as a society, we weren't prepared as a city, and our nation wasn't prepared.
It drastically changed the economy everywhere.
Jobs were going away. People were losing their livelihood. Me supporting Medicare for All, it shined a light because now folks are saying, well, what do we do to solve these problems? We need to look for solutions. Don't BS me right now. My healthcare went away because my job went away. How am I gonna get healthcare? And they start looking around for solutions, and here I am running for US Senate talking about Medicare for All. My platform is to end poverty. To do that type of deep structural work, you have to deal with the issues that cut to the core of why poverty is being passed down. Medicare for All is rooted in justice. I saw it as an economic issue. I saw it as like a humanity issue.
And you know we out here every day with it. I'ma show you how to get it. It go right foot up, left foot slide, left foot up, right foot slide. Basically, I'm saying either way, we bout to slide. Can't let this one slide.
I want to play Nintendo. You don't know how. I know how. I don't know how to plug it in, but I know how to play.
My family is everything to me. In my home, I'm not the state representative or the person that's looking to topple Mitch McConnell. I'm Dad, and I'm Charles. Go wash the dishes. Preston, she's 5. Kaylin is my oldest, she's 13. She's been campaigning with me since she was old enough to walk. She's been holding rally signs. Somebody's gonna get candy cane. Here we go.
And then you got.
My wife, Tanisha, is my partner. She is a teacher. She is a nurturer. She's also a realist. She warned me her concerns, and I presented a plan to her. All right, Orange. How I keep myself safe. In 2018, I was running for State House, and we had just kicked off the campaign, and I nearly died right after that. As a type 1 diabetic, my insulin could be like over $1,000 a month. When I was running for State House, I went home after the kickoff, and I realized I didn't have any more insulin, and I didn't have any more money until the next week. I just tried to muscle my way through. I tried to stretch out the insulin that I did have left.
I didn't even know that he was rationing. I mean, if I would have known, I would have been calling family members or trying to do whatever I could do to get money to get him what he needed. But, I didn't know.
I started shutting down. I couldn't walk. I couldn't lift my arms. I was slurring my speech, and I started throwing up bile. I was powerless. Well, I mean, it's embarrassing to not be able to take care of yourself, as a young guy. Let's see what, oh! Tanisha never really wanted me to get in politics. When I told her I was running for a U.S. Senate, I had to convince and let my wife know that everything would be okay.
Kelsey, my wife, she came onto the campaign. She plugged in and did a lot of digital and running all these elaborate organizing strategies.
Just let's get the names and then we can schedule everybody. I just want to notify people tonight so they feel like they can wrap their mind around it.
What keeps me up at night, I'm an organizer at heart, and is that there are people that want to be involved all over the state and we don't give them a pathway to do so. And the digital organizing piece enabled us to do that.
I mean, that's the thing about the team. It was like small but mighty. So Shantae Wolf came in from the Sunrise Movement to be our deputy campaign manager.
Being a deputy campaign manager means a little bit of everything depending on the day that you show up, honestly. I was the first lesbian same-sex couple to get married in the state of Alabama. So I certainly understand what it feels like to break down barriers and open doors in a historic way. To be the first Black politician, to be the first Black astronaut, or be the first lesbian couple to get married in the state. I mean, it sounds great when you're celebrating, but it actually shows how much further we have to go because these stepping stones should not be celebratory. It should be normal by now.
You hear a lot about identity politics. You know, Black people will vote for Black candidates. Women will vote for female candidates.
We got your back.
Yeah.
Okay? We got each other's back.
That's right.
How are you doing?
You know, I wanted to do what I've been calling the new Southern strategy, which is flip racism on its ear and take these issues that have been turned into wedges that divide us and pull out the common bonds so that now we have the space to fight together.
Charles Booker has a prize.
Race has been used from the beginning of this country in order to keep poor white folks and struggling communities, Black slaves at that time, from joining together to fight those at the top.
The West End of Louisville has much more in common with Appalachia than it does the rest of Louisville. And a lot of us don't see our connections because we have people in positions of leadership that profit off of our division.
I grew up in the coal fields of eastern Kentucky, what you call a holler. Hillbilly is the pejorative term that you hear thrown around. A lot of us take that as a badge of honor.
Some of the hardest working people in Kentucky are the people who are poor.
How hard it is to live paycheck to paycheck, it's awful. You lose sleep, you don't know if you're gonna be able to pay your bills, you don't know if you're gonna be evicted.
And the hole that you're in just keeps getting deeper and deeper.
3 to 4 of the most poorest counties in the entire nation exist literally in my backyard. It's been Republican held because of the culture war that is very pervasive, and they try to set up a false narrative of what you should support. And in that, you know, our schools are being left behind, our healthcare system is crumbling.
Kentucky is one of the poorest states in the nation. We're almost last in everything. There's no good reason for that. We have the most powerful senator ever in Mitch McConnell. Can I swear? That's bullshit.
Did he come in to speak with the families that were nearly lost their life being smothered overnight? Mitch was nowhere.
I'm a registered Republican, but I am sick of the politics. I'm sick of the games, and I want someone real.
Every time you pick the issue, what is bothering you? What do you need? And I can tell you how Mitch McConnell's in the way.
But you see how divided Washington is. So do you think that these progressive proposals would ever get through Congress?
Booker's platform is further left than many.
Booker is running as a staunch progressive who supports Medicare for all, a universal basic income, legalizing marijuana.
The Democrat said he wants to deliver a Green New Deal to protect families.
It begs the question, is this Charles Booker's moment?
Our campaign, our candidacy
my platform of Medicare for All, of making sure we have clean water, sustainable jobs, sustainable housing, better infrastructure with broadband and hospitals, and thriving centers in every part of Kentucky with not only a Green New Deal, but a Kentucky New Deal. And that we fight to do more than just decide between putting food on the table and keep the lights on, that because of everything happening, this pandemic, the height of racial tension, I don't sound so radical anymore.
You gotta vote now if we want change to come, because it ain't gonna come knocking at your door. You gotta go after it. You gotta want it.
We can't complain about who gets elected if we're not holding our elected officials to their word. It all sounds good. Black Lives Matter. It all matters. We're all working together. But what about when the marching stops? Right. Yeah. With this comes a great responsibility because we're all leaning on you right now.
The people of Kentucky are my family, and I just kept seeing over and over again how Mitch McConnell was blocking progress. And so it became clear to me, I'm not worried about my career. I'm worried about Kentucky. He needs to go, so we're gonna get him out of there. And I haven't looked back.
Kentucky's a strange animal when it comes to the politics, and it's the history of Kentucky. Kentucky is basically, I'm just gonna tell the truth, Kentucky is a racist state.
I heard during the campaign people ask, will Kentuckians vote for a black man? Or the hypothesis, Kentuckians won't vote for a black man.
When we do get in positions of leadership, it doesn't make it no easier for us. I can imagine what he's going through.
Normally, folks will say, what is a black man doing this deep in the holler? Doesn't he know it's not safe for him? That doesn't matter, because you know what? It's gonna take someone like Charles to break the barrier of bigotry in Kentucky and say that there's space for us too, even in the holler.
When you start driving through these hills of eastern Kentucky, you start seeing Confederate flags. And you know, this may not be an area that I want to be in when the sun goes down.
When I see a Confederate flag, I see someone who is dedicated to the celebration of enslaving my people. I'm not scared to talk to them, but their love for the Confederacy has no place in the South. And so, you know, perhaps take it to a museum, but don't take it to dinner.
If you ask a Kentucky historian to name like the most racist place towards black people in the state, Corbin would be on everyone's list.
That's what they're working out right now. Like, what's the plan Bs? Okay. We want to make sure people stay safe. We're gonna end up in Corbin, and then
Corbin.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the holler to the hood.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean it when I say it.
That's right.
So
we're gonna put it back on the bus at 8:25.
Is that what time you? 8:25.
I'm gonna come out there and I'm gonna do my best to project. I wanna be close to you. I know this weather is tough, and I appreciate you all coming out. I'm gonna step out there. All right, can you hear me? Yeah! I wanna tell you all how much I appreciate you. You should be home, staying dry right now, but you're standing because you know how important this moment is.
Here's a black man from the west end of Louisville. But he's a homegrown kid, he's a family man. And if this is your far left liberal boogeyman, there's really nothing to be afraid of.
Can I get a selfie?
Go ahead, let's do it.
Yes, you got 40 in Corbin on a rainy night, all right.
It is definitely not a Democratic stronghold. It's probably like an 80-20 district.
There have been some messages and narratives put out there that, well, someone that looks quite like me or is from where I come from and doesn't have a lot of money could never be a United States senator.
Like we talk about a whole lot, you know, urban folks in Charles's district and people here have a lot in common. Y'all, poor is poor.
You talk about poverty in a different way when you're struggling and when you don't know what you're going to eat. You approach politics in a much different way. I think poverty is a uniting issue across our state.
Struggles are good on one hand because they make you strong. They make you able to stand up and endure. And I learned that in my childhood. My son saw that, and now he knows. I never got to the place where I felt like I would never be able to take care of him. If I had to sew 24/7 and work, I was going to do what I had to do to make sure my son was taken care of. There were times when I lost my job, but he still had what he needed. He still ate.
Seeing the sacrifices my mom made, and there were a whole lot of them, it gave me the conviction to do well. I won't say I was around 9 or 10. And during dinner time, you know, my mom typically would make the food. She'd sit down and she'd sit with me. She didn't do that. She set the food down for me and then like made her way out of the kitchen. And it was like awkward. You know, I was asking her, like, what's going on? Why aren't you sitting down? And she said, oh, well, I got something I need to take care of upstairs. It's all right, go ahead and eat. Nah, well, it's dinner time. Aren't you hungry too? Why aren't you eating? Let's eat together like we normally do. She's like, well, no, you eat now, I'll be okay. And over this period of 3 or 4 days, my questions like got more and more intense because like clearly something's not right here. This last day that I asked her, you know, why aren't you eating? And I was like, I was agitated. She stopped. Like she didn't just leave the kitchen this time. She stopped and she turned at the doorway and she told me, well, CJ, I'm not eating because there's not enough food for both of us. She told me there wasn't enough food. And she needed to be able to make sure I was okay. And so if mama couldn't eat, so I could be okay, that's what she would do. And it crushed me. It crushed me, but it gave me this deeper understanding of what it means to really care about somebody.
This Kentucky, we fighters. If you do us wrong, if you're screwing us, we gonna stand up, we gonna raise some hell.
And it takes a lot out of you because you're pouring out. It's not just me giving out talking points. And then like if you feed off the energy of other people and their emotions, like all of that just, it takes a lot of energy out of you. Every time I get off the bus and hear the crowd, it's like, all right, I know I gotta do this for them. It's like, I feel like all I'm doing is like helping to light the match. And then they'll do the rest. I put a fist in there, and if you're able, put a fist in there one time.
This fist represents unity. This fist represents togetherness. It represents family. It represents strength.
No peace, no justice, no peace.
Charles Booker has his fist up, and they all have their fist up too. And who could pull that off except for someone who understood that there's something common about the human family and about suffering.
Nothing can stop us. Nothing can hold us back. So we're going to march. We're going to raise our voice for our future, for Breonna Taylor, for everybody that's become a hashtag.
People have stereotypical notions about black people and people in the holler, but he was able to make the connection because it was a human connection.
Black Lives Matter!
This was across Kentucky, right? A black man from the west end of Louisville was able to resonate with people out in eastern, western, and southern Kentucky. And he was able to do that because there are so many people that felt like they've been left out, that do think that what happened to Breonna Taylor and black people generally across the country is wrong.
Watching young people in the mountains of Whitesburg, Pikeville, Floyd County, join the cause of social justice, something that I don't think Mitch McConnell or Rand Paul would understand. When you saw 80 to 100, 200 young white kids chanting Breonna Taylor's name in the streets of eastern Kentucky, that didn't just happen overnight. That's been waiting, and a spark had to ignite that.
My man.
All right.
Good morning.
How we doing? I was waiting, like we said goodbye like 4 times.
Who you just on the phone with?
Jesse Jackson. So that was special. Reverend Jackson was talking about the history in Kentucky and history in black coal mining. Like, yeah, I mean, I could be a part of something real special.
It's time for a new course, a new coalition, a new leadership. Reagan won the last time, not by genius. Reagan won when we were asleep. He won by the margin of despair. He won by the margin of the fracture of our coalition. He won by the margin of racial division. He won by default.
And then you have the Reverend Jesse Jackson in the 80s, not once but twice. And he's talking about this Rainbow Coalition? Say what?
In 1984, Jackson made history simply by running. This year, Jackson is making history by winning. Winning the support, that is, of voters beyond his black base.
We couldn't have done it without Jesse.
And I think people are impressed with his courage, with his dynamism, with his willingness to articulate issues that are relevant to the disenfranchised, the poor people. 50% of the people in America have given up on the political process. They don't even vote. Who talks about those people?
That is about bringing working class people together, no matter how they identify, based on what they have in common. And what they have in common is the struggle. The class struggle brings people together.
The fact of the matter is that Jackson trying to convince the American people that he is something beyond just a black candidate, and getting through the media coverage of him as a black candidate, it's like taking a rowboat up against the Nimitz. I mean, the guy's got no shot.
I remember back in the 1980s, we went to Hazard, Kentucky, and we had a gathering in the Hazard gym. It was full, struggling generations of miners, poor people. And yet they were there to hear Jesse Jackson because a black man was able to talk with them about why they were poor and why mining had not made them wealthy.
There is a hunger, considerable hunger in this part of the country. There's no real hope for the future amongst many of these people.
When I would see Charles in those places that had so much poverty, I was taken back to Robert Kennedy and his travels to eastern Kentucky and Appalachia, and that war on poverty that never seemed to really materialize.
A lot of the Democratic Party doesn't want to deal with the fact that Bernie Sanders beat the more conservative Hillary Clinton in rural Kentucky. We should have built on that. We should have said, well, let's look at an economic justice platform, a racial justice platform, and said, let's look for a candidate that represents that vision for Kentucky and build on it.
In fact, the most interesting question that modern American politics has ever seen, and will see, is will the 50% of the poor people, the working people, who are now not participating in the political process, who have given up, can Jackson get some of those people to jump in and say, for the first time in my life, I'm poor, I got nothing, I can't pay my phone bill, I can't pay my health care bills, I'm going to vote because Jesse Jackson is standing up for my rights. Can he begin to get to those people? I think he can.
I remember Reverend Jackson said, you know, when we're down in the mines and the lights go out, nobody can tell who's who, nobody can tell what color people are. It's not about erasing race, but it is about saying there's the potential to come together about what our families need, about the economic justice that all our families need.
Suffering breeds character. Character breeds faith. In the end, faith will not disappoint. You must not surrender. We must never surrender. America will get better and better. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
None of this stuff is new. The struggle continues, and every generation is charged with advancing. Justice is not a destination, and I know people get weary. It's not a destination, it's a journey.
All colors, all statuses of income. This is what it looks like.
Everything that Charles told us we could believe in, that we can move mountains, it was just like happening right before my eyes.
This is what change looks like, every single one of you. Embrace this moment.
Everything that I had like grown up being told about what Kentucky was or wasn't, that it was like a poor state, a red state, I was like, yeah, that shit was wrong.
Reverend Jackson just texted me, keep hope alive. I was trying to save Jesse Jackson's number in my contacts. It was special because you could tell listening to him that he understood the history that is being made. Like I can't take that in because I don't know what that means. You know, I don't want to be compared to folks that blaze a trail and that have been in the books that we read and learn about. I don't know. I'm blown away, and I want to stay in a good space, a good mental space. Yeah, I should probably put a jacket on for Joy Reid. Should I put a tie on?
Jacket. I think a jacket. So you're calling in to Joy Reid through Skype and just your credentials.
And we're gonna do it on
here
there
on the hotspot.
Mm-hmm.
And so we may be in the back roads, so we need to be fully prepared.
You know, we're a campaign that goes places that not everybody goes, so we're sometimes off the beaten path. If we're not on the right schedule, let's say we're 15 minutes behind or something, we could be in a place that doesn't have Wi-Fi. I mean, that is like a common Kentucky thing.
You have this with Bernie Sanders and Jamal Bowman, and then these partner groups, and then you're going to be on MSNBC.
It keeps dropping. It's struggling.
We need to.
I think that your headphones for your phone, I don't think fit into that computer. So just use that.
This is really some bullshit. And Mitch McConnell is the barrier to our progress. So my message is we need to get rid of him so that we can transform our future. And Kentucky has been one of the most disenfranchised states in the country. And we've dealt with corrupt politicians for so long that so many people have given up. No more BS, no more political games. This is our time for real structural change. We'll stand together from the hood to the holler. And yes, we will beat Mitch McConnell.
Charles just got on there and he was so present. I felt like that people saw him, in his heart. And the campaign exploded.
So it's time for a change, and I think we've got one with Mr. Booker.
What he says, I believe in his heart. I believe in his passion for helping Kentucky to get over this hump.
I hope that he can continue on because I think he is sorely needed in this state.
All of my life, Mitch McConnell has been a representative of our state, but he's not representing me.
Charles Booker is a brother from the inner city, a graduate of the University of Louisville, and he decided that enough is enough.
And that's what this moment represents. This moment represents, look around. Look at all these beautiful, incredible people here that are standing. Look at us. We are not going to miss this moment. This is our time. This is our time. It is time.
Mama, can't you see? What the state has done to me? What the state has done to me? Took away our clean air. Took away our clean air.
I got involved in the climate movement as like a teenager in Kentucky, going down to Frankfurt, fighting against mountaintop removal. And when I started organizing, I just didn't see that many young people. And I knew that if we were gonna win on climate change, we were gonna have to unite the millions of young people, especially in the South.
We were talking about what would it look like to go all in Kentucky. This place that's considered like a red state, Trump country, coal country. I could see really clearly and quickly that Charles was a once-in-a-generation political talent.
We linked up with the Sunrise Movement. The Sunrise, kids, I don't mean that condescendingly, they're like literally like 19. They became an early supporter.
We had been doing a lot of research on something called wide awake actions, which was a tactic used during the fight for abolition of slavery. People would gather outside the homes of slave owners in the middle of the night and just raise a racket.
Get out the way! Get out the way! Bitch, get out the way! No justice, no sleep!
For a Mitch McConnell to sit up and say the reparations have been paid simply because we are allowed to participate in democracy, which should have been a given from the jump.
Mitch McConnell is at the heart of the beast around the same ideas that say that Breonna Taylor's life doesn't matter.
Wake up, everyone. Without justice, there will be no sleep. We can't sleep, so you can't either.
Yeah, pick a side. Less tweets, more picket signs. Spent the last 2 months being told to get inside. Now we outside cause we sick and tired. 2020 and it's supposed to be a different time. But racism is alive, though they think it's behind us. Rest in peace to Breonna. We ain't asking for the moon, just police to be honest. I don't think it's too much. These times got me thinking too much. Or maybe just enough. Maybe just enough. Maybe this is what it takes. Maybe this is how the levee breaks. Maybe this is fake. Maybe this the only way.
I think people feel really abandoned right now, Mitch McConnell literally said, let the states go bankrupt.
I think Booker resonates on something that is more visceral than,
Why is that, you think?
It's race. I mean, listen, this is not a black state. He's black and he can speak to white people. He's black and he can give white people a vision of whiteness in the future, what it could be. And I think that politicians, liberals, just don't do that very often. They give you this very ornate liberal dream world, and then you as a white man, maybe in Kentucky, you're like, where do I fit in? And people just don't respond to that. You have to give them a reason why it's about their own survival. It's fucked up for me like it's fucked up for you. It's killing me like it's killing you. Might be killing you more softly, but it's killing us all.
Your agenda is in a state that Donald Trump's very popular. He's plus 16 there. He carried the state by a lot. A lot of people will look at your agenda, they'll look at the state of Kentucky and be like, you are tilting at windmills. This is a fool's errand.
But Booker's campaign is hoping to capitalize off of its social media momentum. He even got an endorsement from Kentucky sports radio host Mac Jones.
And I have a feeling he can shock the world.
I think not only is Charles Booker the best candidate, I think with folks like you, we can pull an upset.
Then Bernie and AOC endorse, and man, that happened so quick. I'm like, Charles, I'm like, what do you say? It's like, oh, they want to endorse. I'm like, okay, when? Like in an hour. I'm like, okay.
In the past 2 weeks, Booker has grabbed national headlines and gained a number of endorsements.
We emailed Jennifer Lawrence. She's from Louisville, and she's been
Academy Award winner.
She's about getting money out of politics.
Keep on coming.
We just got the endorsement.
Evan said, bro, we about to go Hunger Games in this on Mitch.
J-Law, woo! I know we're gonna do the whole country a solid.
We have our own protect
Right. Hands full up there.
Your instinct around this,
Yeah.
to go places that may be a little uncomfortable, that your team may not automatically think about it, and to show up and make that the brand of who you are.
Yeah.
I think you're really smart on that. Smart and morally right, if I can put it that way.
I got a phone call with Kerry Washington, Regina King, Tracy Ellis Ross, Ava DuVernay, Tessa Thompson. At 6 p.m. today.
Agenda of the worst service.
Your candidacy has been getting a lot of attention late in this campaign. We mentioned that flood of endorsements that's come in. I was looking at a poll the other day that actually had you leading in the Democratic race.
Charles Booker has seen a major boost in polling.
The first time I'm excited to vote. So, yeah.
So in the last few weeks, there has been a surge.
I want them to understand that the world can be what they want it to be, what they deserve it to be.
I appreciate you. People
Man.
like you, man.
I'm gonna do my part, man.
Absolutely, all the way to
That's
center.
all, yeah. Now
Booker country,
we
baby.
together, man.
Together.
He's like my client, right? We're like have a business relationship, but like he's my brother, and so like I'm watching my brother like live out his dreams.
And I'm just so deeply honored. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. You too.
When he was able to reach a broader audience, right? That's when you started to see millions of dollars come in overnight.
More individuals were donating smaller amounts to him.
And like we just went.
Because we're gonna beat the big money. We not for sale in Kentucky.
He was gaining so much support at the end every hour of every day. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Yes! Let's go!
Being a dad is hands down the best thing to happen to my life. My girls showed me the true definition of love. They helped me see the beauty in the world. I love them more than my next breath. I will never repay them. I will never repay them for what they meant to me. They are my joy. Man, that's a great morning right there. That's a great morning. Man, what a way to start the day. I don't know what got me doing this, but like it gets me fired up. Let's go. Let's go.
Good morning, family. And look, the rain is coming down, so I'm not gonna hold you. That even in this rain, the movement doesn't stop. Even in the height of racial tension in this pandemic, we got our masks on, we keep it distant, but we will not stop fighting for our future. This is a moment where we are shaping history in real time. So we're taking a stand. We're fighting back, and together we're gonna win. Please stay safe, stay healthy, go dry off, and let's win this daggone race. Let's win it. Rain is about rejuvenation. It's about healing. So, you know, it's symbolic, but we got soaked a little bit.
I've talked a lot about how Dr. King would speak about the arc of the universe, the moral arc, how it bends toward justice. It doesn't just happen. We got to be arc benders. We have to do that work. I can see all across Kentucky, we are tugging on that arc. In real time, we are bending that arc. We are tugging on it.
It's bending towards us.
We are pulling on that arc, and the arc is bending. It's bending towards Kentucky.
We are effectuating change.
It's happening in real time.
When we do this, our future will be everything we demand it to be.
We can do this, and we will. And I thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for giving me this chance. Thank y'all so much.
You know, when he came to me the first time, you know, he had to work to make me a believer, and I think he's made a believer out of the state and the nation.
Everybody got to be watching the results, watching the polling locations. Volunteers got to keep pushing. We are right there, and now we just got to finish it off tomorrow. I can't thank y'all enough. When we get older, our little ones, we're gonna be able to tell them how we shook up the world.
Y'all ready to get on the bus?
Many of our leaders here think that voting is a right that you have to earn somehow. You've seen a long history of practices designed to inhibit participation, to make participation something difficult.
Folks rely on public transportation. Folks don't have flexible work schedules.
Thank you, brother. Yes, sir.
Really, for us as Black people, period, we have always had to fight for the right to vote.
I remember when my daughter was voting for the first time, I took her. It's like a rite of passage to Black people and bringing people together so people can understand how to advocate for themselves.
I voted for you.
I'm gonna keep earning it.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's do this.
Thank you. I'm excited to cast my vote for you today.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Good luck. Yes, sir.
We're going to have a fairly complete picture by midnight.
You know, a lot of the sampling that we have done is based on like a traditional electorate, and it does not appear that that's what we have.
So we're just going to strap into this roller coaster.
A war room is where dreams go to live or die.
There's only basically one, maybe two roads in. It's about 30 to 45-minute wait right now.
It's a tight race to be Kentucky's Democratic Senate candidate.
The winner of this race will take on Mitch McConnell. That'll obviously be an uphill fight.
This primary election broke records for Kentucky.
The race to take on the Republican leader Mitch McConnell appeared to be settled. Now is anything but.
If they don't let our people come in there, we're going to file an injunction.
There are long lines in a lot of places around Kentucky right now, especially in the bigger cities. There's heavy traffic that's keeping people in their cars. That is keeping them from being able to vote.
Oh man, election day. Like there's this great Paul Begala quote about election day. It's like this roller coaster, and you're weary, and you just oscillate between measuring the drapes for the Senate office and get embarrassed.
Your hometown of Louisville. You've got more than 760,000 residents. There's going to be just one polling place today. How does the one polling location impact your chances?
Well, it is very concerning to have one polling location for an area the size of Louisville with hundreds of thousands of people. And that's why we've been vigilant from the beginning, making sure folks know what's going on.
States slashed the number of polling places from 3,700 to just 170.
That is a 95% reduction, and this morning it is already sparking concerns of possible voter suppression.
Just because turnout is going to be higher doesn't mean that votes won't be suppressed.
That just means we're determined.
Go get him, Charles.
It should not be hard to vote. Location is not enough.
We do a press release? Simplest fucking press release they ever written.
Okay, I'm gonna hit pause on the reporting conversation. Traffic that is preventing people from getting on site at the Expo Center because it is the only polling location for the entire city. We are petitioning for an injunction. Okay, Dave, where are we? Yeah, we should ask for more. We should have. You think?
2 hours, if we get that, that's going to be, that's going to be a huge win.
Okay.
Voters also complained of heavy traffic jams within the lot of the Expo Center, trying to get in maybe a half hour, 40 minutes until they even got to the front doors, only to find them locked.
She's gonna go witness it herself.
Just to get it to amplify as much as possible.
What if you're sitting in traffic? Does that count being in line? Yeah.
So we need to fast track that. We need to get him to move faster. I don't understand why he's dragging his feet.
A frustrated crowd banging on the doors of the Expo Center after they closed at 6 o'clock.
We also think that it'll be favorable that we just might get this injunction, so we're waiting to see. Oh, we got it?
No, did we?
I think it's
I just got a fucking news chopper in the sky in like 10 minutes. They're gonna tell me there's no goddamn wait.
The cars are backed up all the way here to Gate 2. We have been seeing people flying in, trying to find other ways to get over.
The race is too close to call right now between Amy McGrath and Charles Booker. Meanwhile, voters at Louisville's only voting location pounded on the doors, demanding to be allowed to vote.
lines of people waiting at the expo. Just really makes this work worth it. Because if we could just get one person, if we just get one black woman and her child to be serious and committed to voting, that you're not gonna turn me away. We're gonna bang on this door until you do the right thing.
Well, Doug, I'm outside the doors of the South Wing. Someone just said that the judge approved Booker's injunction. Booker actually won a court injunction allowing those voters to rush in and cast their ballots last minute.
I believe that we have the opportunity to transform history right now. Her story, their story, our story. We are bending the arc of our future right now, in real time.
Democratic candidate Charles Booker partially wins an injunction. Booker wanted voting until 9 tonight. Judge O'Connell allowed it until 6:30 with this order.
Thanks to our suit, the people who were at least in the parking lot who had made it to the sidewalk were permitted to vote. But unfortunately, the larger issue of the people who were stuck in traffic. Asking now if we can do a motion to reconsider.
We've been getting demeaned and ignored and abandoned by the very government we pay for. We have dealt with structural racism and inequity for generations. We have allowed our door to be kicked in, for us to be killed in our bed, in our home, in our sanctuary. And you all standing right now is a sign that we are done with that, that we deserve more.
That's what we'll go with. I'll let him know. Colin.
Yep.
Ben says that it's unheard of. You're not going to go past the injunction. He said, first of all, it's a huge win that we got 30 minutes. But I mean, 7 o'clock now. Poll workers, they're going to be closing up. So anyhow, I'm sorry. Just a crying shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are demanding more, and in fact, we demanding it so much we gonna vote. Even if you try to lock the doors, we gonna bang on the door, because you're not gonna take our voice away, because we need change and we need it yesterday.
The claim that the traffic was people trying to vote was speculation.
Change is coming, and it is inevitable because we are the change. We are the change. They're watching us right now. They see us now. Mitch sees us now. We'll win this. But the work is bigger than this race. It's bigger than any one seat. After we get Mitch McConnell out of the way, we have to come together and continue to fight for our Commonwealth. If you have ever felt like politics didn't matter, I understand. If you ever wanted to give up, if you've ever felt like you didn't have any more hope, I know how you feel. My hope is restored right now looking at y'all. I believe in us. And I know that we will transform our future because we are beautiful, we are brilliant, we are powerful, we are unstoppable. We will win. Thank you for having my back. I'm just a regular guy that believes things can be better, and you saw my humanity. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for hearing my cries. Thank you for believing by my side.
And she has said nothing.
They think they've lost.
I mean, that's the tea leaf on that. And I may make some calls. Somebody might be wanting to talk straight with me if they really think they're toast. You just say, these are indications that we feel like we won. Let's set up a conversation.
We're all running on very low batteries. We've ordered food so that we can perk up. Hey Jeremy, I'm gonna loop you with some other folks. Okay, so we have Taylor, Justin, Shantae, Colin, Kelsey, Charles, and the documentary crew. And then we've got Karthik and Will on the phone.
There's still ballots probably coming in from, like Friday.
Okay.
And we can go 72 to 58 in Fayette and still win. And like just every motherfucker in the world voted early for Amy McGrath. We can see huge shrinkages and still have margin.
So basically, if the late mail-in, which we think 60% of the vote came in late, looks anything like tonight, even a deviation of 10% or 20%, there's a 75% likelihood that you won this primary. And so.
Hey guys, this is Will. I'm just gonna say this too. Taylor sitting on some of the data points that I was looking at.
Hey Will, you kind of stepped on that moment a little bit.
A lot of these ballots too, and counting.
He's processing, Will.
We need like some champagne or something.
Okay, you feel like making a thing before the pizza gets here?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
What y'all gonna make?
He's just making a video for volunteers. We're waiting.
Man.
Because of how many people voted absentee, we won't know the results of many races until next week.
Watching this race, the others closely, will be joining us live coming up in about 20 minutes in our next half hour here midday.
Deadline July 3rd.
Y'all ain't gonna come grab me. So I didn't want to see the results coming from fucking Philip Bailey.
All right, so here's the deal. You want me to give an update?
Yeah.
The raw vote needs to be 121 to 44.
Turnout here in Jefferson County, they say they've never seen anything like it in the history of the county. They checking in with the campaign throughout the day as results come in.
We're going to find out Jefferson in 90 minutes.
We need to win 121,000 to 40,000. So we need like an 80,000 vote margin.
It's possible.
Shit, is it?
It is.
It is possible.
We're going to start counting in 30 minutes. So we'll know in an hour.
Comes down to look.
Christian County.
Is everybody?
We want to bring some, we bring some chairs in here?
We're in it. Come on, Jefferson. 121. Let's go.
All right, they're looking over their vote totals now. What do we got?
Booker, 88,116, and they're typing McGrath right now. 52,224.
So we got 36,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
I don't know what's in that.
We were expecting like 120-ish to 40-ish. Like we're off somehow. It's unbelievable.
At what point do we think that we will have complete election results reported?
Still,
like close of business?
That's 10 p.m.
This is exhausting though.
So how can I do that?
I don't know about you. I'm wound up, so I ain't really sitting there.
Wound up?
Do we want to let press know that the press conference is on hold?
This will go down, of course, as a very historic election. Of course, also a very expensive election.
Man, and here come all the pundits that are always so wrong. Oh. Yeah, this loss means that Charles running as a liberal, it doesn't work. Are you fucking kidding me? She had $40 million. Are y'all kidding me out here? By the time she had 30 million, we had 300,000. Are you kidding me that what you take from this is that the policies don't translate? Come on, man.
It's insane that it's this close, Charles.
This is Shantae.
The Associated Press has called the Democratic Senate primary.
It's McGrath.
There it is, Andrea. You see that check mark? It just popped up. Our decision desk within the last 2 minutes has officially called this Democratic Senate primary in Kentucky for Amy McGrath over Charles Booker. McGrath will advance to face Mitch McConnell.
Doesn't it seem like we were expecting many more ballots in Jefferson than what came in?
Yes.
We just heard that 6,000 ballots were spoiled.
Let's pretend I'm 10 and I'm very dumb. What does spoiled mean?
When they go through and count, they can throw a ballot out for a number of reasons. Mismatched signature, detached flap, ballot not signed. There's a whole list.
We know that's happening in several counties where they grab some ballots. But we are preparing now to take legal action because we know a lot of votes have been thrown out. There may be some issues with the clarity for folks doing it for the first time and secure their signature, whether the flap was torn on the outside envelope incorrectly. So we need to just make sure, because none of these things should be reasons why people don't have their voice heard.
All right, why don't we start by laying out the facts and make sure that we're all seeing this the same way and make decisions?
I think that, I do think that like the public would probably be disappointed if we didn't at least read canvas.
key to this when you go to court is there's got to be enough votes to change the election.
A lot of those mail-in ballots that had been sent early on ended up going in Amy's favor.
I don't know where everybody falls on the spiritual spectrum, but I would actually like a prayer, if that's okay.
Hey, babe, you talking my stuff.
It wasn't enough time. The campaign couldn't push out to the different parts of the state earlier. We needed momentum at the beginning.
You've poured months and months of really hard work. You're away from your family. I don't know how you get back up and start going back to normal life again.
And Lord, you brought him this far, not to let him fall, but to lift him up, oh God.
Okay.
When we got home, he sat on the couch and it was me, him, and the girls, and he told the girls, like, I'm sorry, I tried. And he just kept apologizing to them. I feel like he let Kentucky down.
Struggle makes us who we are. It makes us strong if we endure it the right way. It can build character, because everything is not going to be easy. Life is not easy.
Mitch McConnell, the Republican Senate Majority Leader, he of course won handily last night.
So the AP has just declared that Joe Biden is the winner of the presidential race.
They know it was a fixed election. It was a rigged election.
The U.S. Capitol was breached by a pro-Trump mob.
While the campaign was happening, I was pregnant. So I was on the Booker bus, not feeling too good. When Charles lost, it wasn't necessarily hard to think about what comes next, because the whole point of the campaign was to build a movement in Kentucky. I say that, Kentucky's worth fighting for. This work matters. It's a lifetime fight. You tell yourself that. But now, I have a little girl at home, and it just puts it even more into perspective. Yeah, we're doing this for my kid, but everybody else's kid too, and it means something different now.
I'm really excited that you're here. We're grateful for your leadership. You've been fighting for labor before I was born, and I'm honored to do my part to stand with you in that fight.
I want to thank Charles very much for the great campaign he ran. He showed what grassroots activism and energy can do.
We currently do not have a U.S. Senator representing Kentucky that actually represents Kentucky. We don't have someone that's going to go to Washington and fight for us, fight for working families.
Charles, you're absolutely right. McConnell is more corporate establishment, and Rand Paul is, I don't know, hard to describe Rand Paul. But he is clearly way out of touch. So you got quite a pair there. And I will just say this, Charles, to answer your question. God knows that we need, from Kentucky, a senator who's going to fight for the working class of this country.
How you doing? Thank y'all. I'm gonna work hard to earn your support.
Okay, well, you got my support.
Okay.
You got, as I mentioned earlier, you got a very difficult task here. It ain't easy.
Yes, sir. I'll make you proud.
No.
Folks can say, yeah, but Charles didn't win that nomination. That's not the story. The story is that Charles Booker ran and he got a tremendous amount of votes with a whole lot less money. Now imagine if we can build on that.
If you are 2 to 5 paychecks away from a financial crisis, get on board with Charles. If you are sick of working just enough to be poor, get on board with Charles.
I don't think the Democratic Party believed it could be done. It took someone who had the gall to believe that you could take the hood and the holler and bring them together and show them what they have in common. And that's because he has people at the center of his politics and not power.
We are living today in an unprecedented moment. Millions of Americans marching in the streets to end systemic racism. I also want to thank Charles Booker. Despite being heavily outspent, Charles ran a campaign that the whole country looked at, and I have a feeling that the next time around, the results are going to be different.
If you remember the last time we were on a stage like this, and we were saying something like from the hood to the holler, we were starting to tell a story, and I think we're not done telling that story, if you understand what I'm saying. Y'all know me by now. I got to embarrass the women that make me who I am. My daughters, Kaylin and Preston, my bosses. Kaylin's sitting back there looking like Bernie Sanders, you know, when he was sitting on the...
You started it.
with her arms crossed just like that. She looked just like Bernie sitting at the inauguration. Don't be too embarrassed. I'm gonna try to limit how much I embarrass y'all.
Lying on a Sunday.
My wife, Tanisha, if you look at her shirt for a few seconds, you'll tell that we have another warrior on the way. Baby Justice is on the way.
She's kicking.
First person to tell me that I should run for Senate against Rand Paul is Tanisha. Right now, in Washington, we have 2 U.S. senators. They don't care that unemployment was at a historic level in our Commonwealth. They're gonna vote against extending benefits. They don't care that you need health care. They're gonna give tax cuts to their friends. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I do believe what we did in that race wasn't the end. It was like we ended like we were starting something.
A lot of the work has already been done.
Yeah.
It's just walking in the door and finishing up.
I want to tell a story about what we can do to change the narrative for our future. To make sure that poverty is not something that I have to tell Baby Justice about, but it can be something she reads about because it's in the past. You believe that we can come together from the hood to the holler and transform our future. Do you believe that Kentucky can do anything, including sending a young black man from the hood to Washington to fight for you? Do you believe that now is the time we gotta stand together? Do you believe we need to do it now? Do you believe we need to do it right now? I ask you and I ask you, Mom, tell me if you think that I'm making the right decision. They've called me, a radical. They're gonna say everything they can. When it's like that, your whole family's running. And I just wanna make sure that you all are protected and taken care of in the midst of it. So we're gonna run this race for United States Senate. It won't be easy. You ready to run for Senate, Preston? You gonna knock on doors with me again? I just wanna say how grateful I am to feel like I have a purpose. Thank y'all for letting me do what's in my heart.
Yeah, this is gonna be the hottest summer in history. Life as we knew it before, this is only memories. Chief for the country ain't showing us any empathy, nah. This is Chuck D, Public Enemy. This is not a fundraiser, this is real energy. This is not a token friendship, he is kin to me. Don't know how the fuck you think that this is how it's meant to be. Pick a side, less tweets, more picket signs. Spent the last 2 months being told to get inside. Now we outside cause we sick and tired. 2020 and it's supposed to be a different time. But racism is alive, though they think it's behind us. Rest in peace to Breonna. We ain't asking for the moon, just police to be honest. I don't think it's too much. These times got me thinking too much. Or maybe just enough. Maybe just enough. Maybe this is what it takes. Maybe this is how the levee breaks. Maybe this is fake. Maybe this the only way.